like that, and because you outboxed the fucking best boxer in the world for rounds. You beat him at his own game. Your game plan was perfect. It's perfect. He nicked it just at the end. He nicked it at the end. He was stopping around. That's all it was. But that fight up until 10 was dead fucking level. You was outboxing the best boxer in the world. Your stock rose, mate. You rose. Like you come out of that with victory, mate. Like honestly, you know, if there was any doubters out there now, bro, there's fucking none now at all.
Right, if I was on the phone to the Chinese, local Chinese, it'd be egg fried rice, special fried rice, large, plain chow mein, shredded chicken chow mein, large, salt and chili king prawn, salt and chili chicken, kung po prawn, sweet and sour chicken balls, sweet and sour pork balls, shredded chili beef, beef in black bean sauce, mini pancake rolls, large pancake roll, curry sauce, 2 portions of prawn crackers. Bosh. On Saturday night, I'll be listening to Usyk versus Joshua exclusively live on TalkSport while I'm enjoying my Saturday night Chinese. Special fried rice, bosh. Special chow mein, bosh. Sweet and sour chicken balls, bosh. Sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style, bosh. Salt and chili king prawn, bosh. Salt and chili chicken, bosh. Barbecue spare ribs, bosh. Roast pork Chinese style, bosh. Crispy aromatic duck, bosh. Chips, bosh. Prawn crackers, bosh. Curry sauce, bosh.
We still have that, Damien, somewhere. I still have all of those. I still have the Eddie, Kell and Amir intro, actually. Right, let's just check the mic gain. Can you guys hear me? Press a 1 if you can hear me. And then I'll get this clown music going. 1 second. Let's check, see, hold on. Let's try like that. How's that? Is the mic going okay? Press 1 if the mic sounds okay, and we are ready to go. All right, we're ready to go. Fuck me. Right, we got to do this super quick because Liverpool, who I do not support, are about to turn. I only support them when they're playing Man United, but they're about to go into the Bernabeu versus Real Madrid. So it is what it is. Right, let's get this done. Right, from the people that brought you the dumbest excuse for having an adverse finding in a drugs test of all time comes the dumbest sparring video in the history of mankind. Let me just see if we have any music that would suit this. I can't play the footage, obviously, because it's not my video. It belongs to Boxing King Media, so I'm not going to steal their content and play the footage. Having said that, I will give you my thoughts on it, and if you want to have a quick look at it, the link's in the description box, and I've posted the link in the chat below. But let's get some appropriate music for this Conor Benn sparring video. Just give me 1 sec. Let me know. Press 1 if you can hear this. Here you go. Can you still hear me over the music? Can you still hear me loudly and clearly over this music? Jesus Christ! How do we get from dodgy chicken eggs to dodgy sparring videos? Jesus, this is the stupidest sparring video I have ever seen. This sparring video is the reason why they should stop doing. In fact, just stop filming sparring. Just stop filming it. And if you're going to film it, just release the whole thing. But let me just quickly check my my voice. Oh, Yo King says I'm good. 1 sec. Let's just double check. 1 sec. No, I can't. Okay, I'll take Yo King's word for it. Right. Let's go to this. Sparring footage has been released. Leaked sparring footage. Kell Brook versus Conor Benn. Now, what did Kell Brook say about this sparring footage? Do you remember when Kell Brook and Conor Benn were arguing? Yo King, can you guys still hear me clearly over the music in the background, or can you not hear me correctly? Let me know. What did Kell Brook say about this sparring video to Conor Benn when they were arguing about it? Here you go. What did he say? Kell said, show the whole thing. Here you go. You can see it on the screen. This is what Kell said to Conor Benn. Right? Conor Benn, stop talking shit. You know the footage begs to differ. Yeah? What did Kell say? Put it out then. Let's see it. And don't put out snippets We want it all, baby. Kell Brook wants all the smoke. He just says, look, if we're going to put the sparring footage out there, put the whole thing out there. Don't put snippets out there. First and foremost, the amount of idiots out there who are now videoing themselves sparring is an embarrassment to mankind, yeah? But not only did Boxing King Media somehow get hold of this leaked sparring footage, I tell you what, I'll give anybody right now 10 points for guessing who supplied this footage to Boxing King Media. Seeing as it appears to come from where? Where do you think this footage comes from? It suspiciously looks to me like it may have come from a CCTV camera down at the Matchroom gym in Essex. Hold on, let me say this. Surprisingly. I wonder who supplied Boxing King Media with this footage. Seeing as, you know, if you look at the markings, the date and timestamp at the top left-hand side here, it looks remarkably similar to CCTV camera footage. But wait, we ain't even got... If you think we ain't even got started with this abomination of a sparring footage. So, I think we can use our spidey senses, yeah, to deduct, yeah, how Boxing King Media got hold of this footage, yeah? So, I see this footage, yeah, and I'm thinking, right, I hope it's the whole footage like what Kell asked for. Straight away, I look at this timestamp. 1 minute and 31 seconds. And the fucking first 10 seconds of that is fucking advert. So basically, we're down to... Oh, wait. The first 10 seconds is adverts. And the last 10 seconds is adverts. So basically, here you're giving me, yeah, about 60 seconds of footage, yeah, from what looks to be the CCTV camera in the fucking Sims gym down at Matchroom. All right? So, there you go. That's my opinion. If the lawyers are listening, please don't sue me. It's my opinion that this looks like CCTV footage, okay? So, we've got 60 seconds of footage to go on, okay? So, we've got chopped up footage, right? We've got completely chopped up footage. And obviously, whoever did this footage, right? Whoever put up this 60 seconds, yeah, of sparring instead of the whole fucking thing, like what we asked for, unlike what Kell asked for, okay? Again, Kell said, look, show the whole thing. Don't put snippets out. What do we get? 60 seconds of snippets. But it gets worse. It gets worse, right? It gets worse. Because, do you know what I've come to realise about these snippets of footage, right? I want you to have a look at the timestamp here. In this top left-hand corner. Look at the numbers on the timestamp. And just see if you can notice anything suspicious about these timestamps. Let's just go through these timestamps. I'm not showing the footage, right? Boxing King Media. So I'm not doing any copyright. These are just stills of the footage. So let's have a look at this. So the time there, we're 15 seconds in. The time is 10:16. Okay, let's just keep going. Let's just go to a few more frames here. Oh, now it's 10:15. That's interesting. Well, let's just keep going. Oh, 10:16 again. Let's keep going. Still at 10:16. Oh, 10:08. That's it. Who filmed this? It's almost like Doc from fucking Back to the Future got in his fucking DeLorean and started filming this. This is remarkably interesting, isn't it? Looks like we're going back in time. Oh, look, we're back at 9:57. Wow. Surely somebody, yeah? Surely somebody didn't turn around, yeah? We're not even watching clips in any kind of sequence. What kind of context is this? We're not even watching the sparring progress round by round by round. Someone's literally taken, yeah, a good couple of rounds of footage. Not only have they chopped it down to 60 seconds, but they've put the clips in all over the fucking place. So how's anybody supposed to get, yeah, any fucking thing? You can't tell how the sparring was progressing round after round after round. You can't see the flow of the sparring. You can't see who's getting on top of who. This is just chopped up garbage. This is 100% chopped up garbage. This is worse, yeah, than the dodgy chop suey I get from the fucking local Chinese. The one that I get up in the morning, yeah, and get the fucking runs from. I mean, talk about editing. Jesus Christ, listen. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. So, like I said before, this is a how not to do it, yeah, on sparring footage. This is just as doctored and as dodgy as possible, you know. One, you don't even show the full sparring, yeah. And look, it's so obvious what someone tried to do here. They tried to put in a few clips here of Kell tagging Conor. You see what they tried to do in the video? Oh, we'll stick in a few clips here and there of Kell tagging Conor just to try and give it some kind of illusion in it, yeah. just to give it some kind of illusion. Oh, we're not trying to scoot Kell over here because we've put a few shots of Conor getting tagged in. You haven't even put the fucking sparring footage in any kind of fucking order whatsoever. You've just gone through. You've taken bits from. You started the video with what's happened later on in the sparring, and then you're finishing the video up, yeah, with stuff that happened fucking at 9:57 in the beginning of sparring. I mean, what kind of context is that? Press 1 if you agree with me that that's just deception of the highest order. Press 1 if you agree with me, and press 2 if you disagree with me. I mean, it's just deception of the highest order, isn't it? And like I said before, my advice, right, is there's a very, very simple way to stop this. Stop fucking filming yourself sparring. Stop filming yourself sparring. Stop filming yourself sparring on CCTV. And if you ever do film yourself sparring and you release it, release the whole thing. Release the whole thing. And if you're going to release snippets and be a complete muppet, please release the snippets in order, in time order. If the zone, let me just quickly tell you what this footage they put in of is. Can you imagine if the zone showed you highlights of a fight? Yeah. Can you imagine? Look at this. Yeah. Imagine if the zone showed you highlights of Conor Benn's last fight. Yeah. And they started at fucking round 5, and then in the next highlights they were giving you highlights from round 1, and then the next highlights they were giving you highlights from round 3. And then in the next one they were giving you highlights from round 10, and then he finished off by going back to round 1 again. What kind of bullshit is this? And what's this got to do with chicken eggs? Can somebody tell me? What's this got to do with chicken eggs, yeah? And what's this got to do with VADA allegedly contaminating this man's test? Because I'm still waiting for this 270-page document to make its way to the British Boxing Board of Control. So what's happening with that? What's happening with the ongoing UCAD British Boxing Board of Control investigation? What are we hearing about that? It's funny, isn't it? Like, how's this man got time, yeah? No, I'm being honest, yeah? Let me tell you this. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this video, but I'm in a bad mood. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you, right? Let me be honest. Somebody, right? This is my opinion. Allegedly, somebody close to the Conor Benn team, yeah, has managed to go and get, yeah, CCTV footage from the Sims gym, yeah? Chop it up, edit it, take it completely out of context, not even show it in order, and it somehow gets the Boxing King media. The British Boxing Board of Control have been fucking asking, yeah, for some kind of explanation about 2 adverse findings in the space of a couple of months. You know what? It's been like nearly 4 months. The British Boxing Board of Control, as far as I'm aware, have never, ever received any kind of explanation as to how this stuff magically got into your system a couple of times in the last couple of months. The British Boxing Board of Control can't get, yeah, this 270-page document. And nobody, anywhere, can seem to find out where do these chicken eggs or these egg white supplements come from. These egg white supplements that the WBC seem to think are the reason why there was an issue with a test. Who is supplying these egg white supplements? Where do these egg white supplements come from? Who is the manufacturer? It's been 3 to 4 months now, and we haven't had any answers coming out of this camp. But what we do get, they have got time to fucking take footage of Kell Brook off the fucking CCTV camera in the Sims gym, chop it up, rearrange it, and somehow send it over to Boxing King Media. These individuals are an absolute clown show. And that's the reason why British boxing's a clown show. And that's the reason why we always play on this channel the British Boxing Clown Show music. There you go. Bit late, but better than never. Does anybody have any more questions here on this magical sparring video? Listen, I'll be honest with you. Big shout out to Conor Benn. He's come a long way in this sparring video, hasn't he? From when he was boxing Cedric Payne back on Sky Sports Next Gen, innit? Bloody hell. Shout out to Conor Benn, man. He's skilled. Tony Sims should get Trainer of the Year. Because from what I see in this sparring video from Conor Benn, you know, the speed of reactions, the counter punching, he threw some lovely right hands off Kell Brook's jab. Wow. Tony Sims needs to be up for Coach of the Year, because I've never seen somebody take a novice prospect from the middle of the Australian outback, a couple of amateur fights in Australia, life and death with French kickboxers on Sky Sports Next Gen shows, and all of a sudden, yeah, this guy gets a broken jaw, goes away, comes back to boxing, and now apparently, allegedly he's bossing Kell Brook, yeah, in the boxing gym 3 weeks before his fight with Terence Crawford. Let me tell you something right now. Tony Sims is the best coach in boxing. Make no mistake about it. He is the best coach in boxing. In fact, yeah, I would say, based on the footage that I've seen in this sparring clip, Tony Sims is a better coach than Emmanuel Stewart, because that is one hell of a transformation. Tell you what, some of these fighters are down at that gym. Fucking hell. The training must be exceptional, because there are some serious improvements being made there. Serious improvements being made there. So tell me, how do you feel about it? Let's have a look at the comments. Harley, who should have been banned about, many times on this channel, but it is what it is, Harley somehow continues to survive. Let's have a look. Harley says, damage control and editing. Show me a full round. None of this cut up stuff. It's I have to say, I mean, it's one thing to show cut up footage, but to cut it up and not even show it in fucking order. Nah, that's just rank. That's just straight up rank. And like I said before, it's very, very disingenuous to do that, because those of us who've had spars before, do you know how many times people look good in the first round of sparring or the second round of sparring, and then just after that they fade? I mean, listen, sparring for a reason, isn't it? It's 2, 3, 4 rounds or whatever it is. Some people are really good in the first 30 seconds. Some people are really good in the first minute. Some people start off really sharp, and then guess what? They fade off afterwards, innit? So that's why it's interesting to get the whole context, innit? The whole context. But we haven't been allowed to do that. And obviously what should happen is they should just release the entire footage. Better yet, do you know what they should do? They should put this footage in the bin, yeah, and just give the British Boxing Board of Control that 270-page document. I would like that a lot more. We'll talk about Joshua Buatsi in just a sec. Any more comments, and then we'll move on to Joshua Buatsi. Crazy D3 saying Tony Sims will win Coach of the Year when Ryder gives it a go and tries his best against. I'm going with Ryder. I don't know about you. I'm going with Ryder by knockout over Canelo Alvarez. I don't know what you guys are going for. I'm going for John Ryder, 100%. Jesus, I'm definitely going for John Ryder. I'm telling you, man. Some of the improvements that are being made at the minute by these British fighters is incredible. Don't sleep on British boxing, man. It's unbelievable what's going on with these fighters. All of a sudden, they just, you know what I mean, stopping people left, right, and centre. So I'm gonna go with John Ryder by knockout over Canelo Alvarez. Do you know what I mean? That's my opinion. I think we're gonna see another a massive leap in blah blah blah. John Trowson says, the exact punch-for-punch details of the whole sparring session are documented in another 270 pages. Fuck, it wouldn't surprise you, would it? Casa Calling says, one would assume Brook, a genuine world-level 147-pound fighter, would have smashed Benn very badly. No, it's styles, isn't it? It's styles. And look, from what we saw, Conor Benn boxes well. Like, Conor Benn hits him with the same shot over and over again. Brook keeps throwing that lazy jab and not bringing his hand back to his chin. And you can see Conor Benn, yeah? Every time Conor's waiting for that jab and he's throwing the right hand counter off Kell Brook's jab. Same shot every time. And Kell's getting hit with the same shot over and over again. Kell's always had a very, very lazy left hand. Very, very lazy left hand. And it is what it is. And so Conor exploited that really, really well in this video. So that's the shot that he gets hit with the most, is with the counter right hand over Brook's jab. So look, it is what it is, Like I said before, and again, if you're Kell Brook, this is why we feint. If you feint before we throw, then you throw off Conor's timing, and then he'll have a lot more difficulty in landing that right hand. But Brook was throwing that jab, and he was just not bringing it back to his chin at all. And the one he gets really caught with, he's up too close. He's too close to Conor Benn. He's way too close, and he throws a very lethargic jab to Benn's body. And Benn counters him with the right hand over the top left hook. I mean, it is what it is, but it's just sparring. I mean, like I said before, Brook's, coming towards the end of a camp. We don't know how many rounds he's been sparring. We don't know what he's done in that day. Could have been tired. Could have done a bit of strength and conditioning. We don't know what kind of conditioning. It's just sparring. Do you know what I mean? But look, like I said before, look, I can see why. Like I said, Benn would feel like he can, get the better of an aging Kell Brook. I can definitely see that. But what I'm saying is release the whole footage. Release the whole footage. Yeah, you're absolutely right, GP Poker. Brook always fell in with the jab as well. Biggest issue. Kell always falling over his shots. That's the thing about Kell. Kell always falls over the right hand. And you can't do that against Golovkin and Spence. You can do that against smaller guys like what he boxed his entire career, like Amir Khans and the Kevin Biziers and these kind of fighters. But you can't really get away with them kind of things against them fighters. You got away with it against Sean Porter though, because he was able to clinch and hold. But yeah, you got to be careful. Kell always falls in after his shots. But listen, like I said before, if you're asking me about the footage, I mean, to me, Kell landed some very, very good shots. Very, very good shots. Conor landed some great shots. I thought Kell landed some good shots. And I think, like I said before, if you're watching this footage, right, for me, like, can't really make too many judgments from it. But I will say this, you know, the day Conor Benn meets somebody who's physically stronger than him, he will get wiped out in a couple of rounds. Because the thing about him is, right, you don't have, I'm not sure that he has the nous. So I think Conor Benn is a physical specimen, right? Why that is, I will leave that up to you to decide why Conor Benn's become such a physical specimen. I'm not going to make any allegations. I will leave that for you to decide, right? Conor Benn is a physical specimen. He's very fast. He clearly hits hard, yeah? He's got good reactions. He's a good athlete, right? But like I said before, we always say in boxing, you will always meet, eventually, down the line, right? Sooner or later, you will meet somebody who's stronger than you, faster than you, or punches harder than you, or all three at the same time. You will meet that. Now, do you have the fundamentals to fall back on? You know, I tell you what, I look at Conor Benn. I'm not going to play the footage, but I look at Conor Benn nice and squared up against these ropes, yeah, with nowhere to go, yeah? Trying to slip and ride shots, and you can see Kell Brook landing uppercuts and stuff on the inside. Fucking hell. As soon as this guy gets pushed back in a fight, I do worry for him. I do worry for Conor Benn when he gets pushed back in. When he's the one on the back foot, he's getting pushed back. I hand on heart, I do worry about him a little bit as well. And Conor Benn fell in as well after a lot of his shots as well. He kept falling in off that straight right hand, and which is fair enough because Brook's got the reach advantage on him. But you see when Brook was throwing that lazy jab and Conor was looking for that counter right hand over the top, you see Conor fall in head first every time straight afterwards. And I kept saying, I was watching the footage and I was like, Kell, uppercut. And if anybody should be able to exploit that, it's Kell, because Kell's one of the few top British fighters who has timing. Let me quickly say this before we move on to Joshua Buatsi. People need to understand, do you know how hard it is to time someone in a boxing ring at any level? At any level. Timing is hard. Timing somebody at any level of boxing is not easy. There's a lot of things that go on in this ring and that we see on the camera screen that we take for granted, right? Timing is not easy. You know, you'd be surprised the amount of top fighters, British fighters out there, who have got no sense of timing whatsoever. You know, they're what we'll call meat and veg fighters. Yeah, come on, yeah, left hook. Yeah, give him a jab. But they can't count. We see it so many times with these British fighters. They've got no idea about counter punching. You know, they've got no idea about timing. They can't counter punch. You know, what they are is they're give and go fighters. They're either dishing out punishment or defending from punishment, but they've got no sense of timing. They don't know how to catch a fighter in the middle of punching. Right? They don't know how to catch a fighter in the middle of punching. They don't know how to time a fighter in the middle of punching. They're either dishing out punishment or they're either defending from punishment. One or the other. Press 7 if you understand what I'm saying. You're either giving or you're getting. But there is an in between. And Kell Brook is one of the very, very few fighters I've seen, top level British boxers, who understands timing, who knows how to catch a guy in the middle of... You've seen the Sean Porter fight. Hurt Sean Porter a load of time. Knows how to catch a fighter in the middle of punching. Knows how to time a guy in the middle of a shot. He's got excellent timing, Brook. Excellent timing. And you just don't see that from a lot of our top level fighters. You just don't see it. You don't see it. Tyson Fury, like him or not, we'll talk about him, has excellent timing. Caught Dillian White in the middle of punching for that massive knockout. You know, Tyson Fury's got excellent punching, but a lot of British fighters, you know, they're not big on that. They're not big on counter punching. A lot of these British gyms are good on meat and two veg, you know, in and out, jab, 1, 2, left hook, that kind of stuff. They're not into the finer arts, the angles, angling around fighters. Not a lot of angles, not a lot of feinting, not a lot of pivoting. Not a lot of timing, not a lot of counter punching. I find out there's not a lot of that going on. Right, let's have a look. Right, shall we? Yeah, exactly, Chris. Anyone from the Ingle Gym do it properly. I mean, we do have some reservations about the Ingle Gym, which obviously I shall not mention on this channel. But I've said it a million times. But you've heard me say it a zillion times. If I had to train for one fight in the UK, my first choice would be Dominic Ingle. Without even blinking, I'd be on the first train to Sheffield as soon as possible. Right, let's talk about other news. Who wants to talk about Joshua Buatsi? Joshua Buatsi dissing the app known as DAZN. What time is it? Liverpool will be on in about half an hour, so you've got to be super quick. And I've got some pasta on the go. Right, let's have a look. We've got Eddie Hearn visiting Anthony Joshua in the gym in Dallas, Texas today, ahead of his fight with Jermaine Franklin. Eddie Hearn looking trim at the minute. I have to say, I do like Eddie's beard at the minute. I do like Eddie Hearn's big beard at the minute. I do think he's made a right decision to grow his beard out there. So shout out to Eddie Hearn for the beard there. And Eddie Hearn looking trim there. Obviously, I think we all know why Eddie Hearn's looking trim all of a sudden. Looking trim and dressing like a 15-year-old kid. 10 points if you can guess why that would be. There you go. 10 points if you can guess why Eddie Hearn all of a sudden's looking trim and dressing like a 15-year-old. If you don't believe me, let's have a look one more time, yeah, at some of this. Look, if you don't believe me, look, why is Eddie Hearn all of a sudden dressing like this? Look. Oh, fuck off, you wankers. Sorry, it's a fucking browser. There we go. Hold on, let me just make sure we got this. Excusez-moi, there we go. Why is Eddie Hearn all of a sudden, yeah, looking all trim and dressing like a 15-year-old? I think we know why. I think we know the reason why. But look, big shout out to former amateur boxer Eddie. I'm still waiting for this guy to get in the ring with somebody his own size. We haven't seen it yet. I think he was calling somebody out, innit, to fight the other day. Am I wrong? Or was it just Simon Jordan? He was calling someone out, wasn't he, Eddie Hearn? But he was calling someone out to fight. You know when you disagree with Eddie Hearn, he says he wants to fight you, innit? I think he was offering to fight Simon Jordan. I'm still waiting for him to fight someone in his own side. I think he's still looking, because he runs a lot of 5Ks, didn't he, Eddie Hearn, didn't he? He runs a fair few 5Ks, didn't he? So he thinks he can do something in the boxing ring. I'm here to tell you a story, yeah? There's a big difference between running 5K, yeah, and being able to put in rounds in a boxing gym, mate, against somebody your own size. I'll tell you that right now. I can run a 5K. I ain't fit. I ain't fit at all, right? And I could do a 5K right now. Not in the greatest time in the world, but I could do a 5K, yeah, in a suitable time right now. Literally, I could put the mic down and do it right now. Could I put the mic down right now and do 6 rounds in a boxing gym? No, I couldn't. So I think some of them 5Ks have been getting to his brain. Eddie Hearn visiting Anthony Joshua in the gym in Dallas, Texas today, ahead of his fight versus Jermaine Franklin, April the 1st. Do you know what? Back in the day, do you know we used to hear from Eddie Hearn? You know we used to hear all these stories about Anthony Joshua sold out in 20 seconds. Anthony Joshua broke the, Madison Square Garden pre-order arena. How are the tickets going for that fight? Just out of interest. I mean, look, I think Anthony Joshua's a world-class fighter. To me, I don't really care how many tickets he sold, but since people are always attacking me about who's a draw and who's not a draw, and all we've been hearing for the last fucking couple of weeks is splits, which we'll talk about in a minute. Splits. So it's all we've been hearing on the internet. Can somebody tell me, if I wanted to go and watch Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin in a couple of weeks' time, can somebody tell me, would I be able to buy a ticket, yes or no? Just out of interest. I'm thinking of going. Just out of interest, does anybody know? If I wanted to buy a ticket to see Anthony Joshua, yeah, versus Jermaine Franklin at the O2, would I be able to get a ticket? Because back in the day, yeah, those tickets used to sell out in 20 seconds. Would I, if I was to have a look and inquire right now, can somebody tell me in the chat, would I be able to buy a ticket? Let me know. If somebody give me the answer, I'll give you some points. Right, let's move on to Buatsi very, very quickly. So, the latest fighter to leave Matchroom Boxing is, surprise, surprise, Joshua Buatsi. Some people, got to be careful what I say here, some people have called it the Matchroom Plantation. And let me just say, Casa Calling, listen, I think Anthony Joshua is still worth a watch. I think he's a tremendous boxer. His last performance against Usyk, in my opinion, was a career best performance. I don't know why Anthony Joshua doesn't get credit. His performance against Usyk was a career best performance. He actually outboxed Usyk in small stretches, and he hurt him. I've never seen Usyk that hurt as what I see him get hurt by Anthony Joshua in late rounds. So Anthony Joshua should get a lot of credit, but like what you said, Casa Calling, who is Anthony Joshua's fan base? Casuals. That's his fan base. His fan base is basically made up of casuals and people who've never stepped in a boxing gym in their entire life. And what happens when these types lose? People stop fighting. The same thing will happen to Fury. If Fury gets beat or gets knocked out, you'll see a lot of his support dwindle as well. Press 1 if you agree with me, and press 2 if you disagree. I believe that a lot of the old Anthony Joshua fans have now switched over to Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? You know those casual sort of pub watching fans. Do you know what I mean? The ones who come up to you at work. You know when you go into the office on a Monday morning. Well, I work from home at the minute, but when I get made redundant and no longer have to work and no longer get to work at home, yeah, and I have to work from the I have to be on the dole or work in the office. Do you remember those people who come up to you and go, "Hey, Ultra, did you see Conor Benn versus Mike Tyson last night? Good fight, innit?" Do you know what I mean? Them kind of people, innit? Do you know what I mean? I have a feeling that a lot of those people have now migrated. There's a technical term for you. They've now migrated, yeah, from Anthony Joshua over to Tyson Fury. And why is that? Because you know they're cheerleaders. What they do is they just want winners, don't they? They're just they're cheerleaders, aren't they? They're glory hunters, like a lot of these Matchroom, aren't they? Do you not think I've said it, yeah, from day one. A lot of these Matchroom fans, would you agree with me? A lot of these Matchroom supporters are just cheerleaders. You can see now, as soon as Matchroom are going through tough times, all these guys, you don't hear from them no more on the internet, do you? Do you remember all those guys who are puffing their chest out all over the internet about Matchroom's this, best promotion in the game, Eddie Hearn's by far the best, nobody can touch him, this, that. Do you remember how much crap we had to see on YouTube about this stuff? Do you remember? Where have all the Matchroom cheerleaders gone? You don't see them no more. This is what these people do. Me, look, whatever people say about me, right? Whatever people say, whatever criticisms get launched at me, let me ask you an honest question. Have I ever switched up? Have I ever switched up? Ever? Ever? Have you ever heard me on any social media platform ever switch up? You know what the answer is? The answer is no. The reason for that is, yeah, on this channel, we know how to take an L. When it's time to take an L, we don't just disappear or change the subject or switch sides. We don't, and that's simple. It's as simple as that. If you look at what I've said on social, it's been consistent. Whether it was this week, last month, or last year. If you look at what I'm saying, right, for the pretty much, it's been consistent. And we get it wrong. And when we get it wrong, we come on here and I say, hey, you know what? I got that wrong. Hey, you know what? I've changed my mind. Hey, you know what? Maybe this is a lot better than what I thought. We don't do what the others do, which is disappear, like they're doing now. Disappear. Certain individuals who used to be up the backside of Matchroom. Have you noticed now they're clinging on to Boxer? Don't think we can't see you, man. You used to be up the bottom of Matchroom, left, right, and centre. Now you're clinging on to Boxer. You know who you are. Stop that, man. Stop it. Stop crawling up the jacksie of Boxer. Stop crawling up the jacksie of Boxer. We know what you're doing, man. Because you want access. Because they want access. That's how these dudes think. Oh, well, if I crawl up so-and-so's backside, I'll get access. It's cringeworthy. Stop it, mate. Stop it. Right, Joshua Buatsi on why he left Matchroom and DAZN for Boxer and Sky. This is Joshua Buatsi. I'm going to quote Buatsi quickly. I want people to say, we know what channel to turn to. I'm not going to tell you to download an app, to type in your email. My last fight, I asked myself, how many watched it? I don't think a lot of people saw it. Question number 1, right? We hear all these stories. Do you remember when Box Nation was around? Do you remember when Box Nation was around, right? When Box Nation was around, didn't we used to hear like endless stories from Eddie Hearn about Box Nation had no subscribers? Press 8 if you remember, press 9 if you don't remember. Do you remember that? Do you remember back in the day? Look at Eddie Hearn. Right, he looks well different. Look, 9 years ago. Look, I can't play this video for copyright reasons, but I think this is when Eddie Hearn still had his real accent as well. Not the Essex one that he put on. Do you remember when? Because you know Eddie went to boarding school, innit? He went to an exclusive private school, didn't he? Surrounded by rich people, innit? So do you remember when he first came into boxing? He still had a bit of a posh twang to him, didn't he? Because obviously he went to private school. But then obviously as the years went on, then he started to talk like somebody out of his den. Then he started talking like Phil Mitchell. Do you remember that? Then he started talking like he was Phil Mitchell. And then after he started talking like he was Phil Mitchell, he started telling people that he was an amateur boxer. And then when we turned around and said, that's great, where's the footage? Where's the footage? Because your dad was one of the richest men in the whole of Britain. You're telling me you had fucking numerous boxing fights at Billy Boxing Club, and your dad, who was a fucking multi-millionaire, couldn't afford to take a Sony Handycam into your fights and video footage of you fucking fighting. Do you not find that funny, innit? No footage exists of this man's supposed amateur boxing career. His dad's one of the richest men in the whole of Britain. Matchroom's now worth like 100 million. And somehow, yeah, Barry Hearn went to watch his son fight, yeah, under the name Eddie Hills. And Barry Hearn couldn't afford to take a fucking camera in there and switch it on. But anyway, yeah, before he started putting on the full... Actually, no, look, that's a bit unfair. I think Eddie Hearn's more of an Alfie Moon type, innit? What do you think? Innit? Eddie Hearn, innit? When he first started out, he was talking posh, innit? Then all of a sudden, innit? Now all of a sudden, he's talking like Alfie Moon and shit. He out here talking like Alfie Moon. Anyway, let me get back, yeah? So, back in the day when there was a Box Nation, yeah? Do you remember when Eddie Hearn used to constantly talk about Box Nation's low numbers and shit? Do you remember that? It's funny how times change, innit? There's a very, very simple way to resolve this, right? Just tell us what the subscriber numbers are. I don't mind Eddie. People think I hate Eddie. I do not hate Eddie Hearn. Let me make this clear. On this channel, right, we never, ever make it like super personal, right? If we wanted to make it personal about Eddie Hearn, there's a lot of things about his father that I could use to take a shot at him. But I would never do that because I believe Barry Hearn is a sound guy. Barry Hearn's absolutely off his rocker. Don't get me wrong, yeah? Barry Hearn is absolutely out of his mind, yeah? But I don't believe one bit the accusations against Barry Hearn. And for the most part, I think Barry Hearn's a decent guy. And I used to, you guys know, I used to have back and forth, a little bit of a back and forth with Barry on social media back in the old days. So I don't have a problem with Barry Hearn, and I've got no personal issue with Eddie Hearn. All I do is just point out some inconsistencies, right? If I wanted to be personal about Eddie Hearn, there's an interesting situation going on between him and his wife, and another third party that I could start talking about if I wanted to be personal about Eddie Hearn. I could refer to some things that are going on right now at home, but I would never do that because we want to make it about boxing. So I want to make that clear. I don't hate this guy. I'm just saying, innit? Like I find it interesting that people don't see the change in his accent, innit? Don't see the change in his accent. That's all. Anyway, Joshua Buatsi's telling you that nobody watched him fight on DAZN. Now, here's my question: why is it that when I have said this in the past, I've received threats to kill me? Or threats, or people wishing that I died, or people wanting to spar me, or people wanting to fight me, or people wanting me to come on their YouTube channel for a debate? Why is that? Why is it when I say this, often months, years, days, weeks, seconds, hours, milliseconds, whatever, in advance of it, yeah? Why is it I have to take abuse? But when the fighters themselves say it, nobody has anything to say. That's interesting, isn't it? But Joshua Buatsi's telling you, look, he wants to fight on a platform that actually has people watching it. Like I said before, DAZN may get better. It may get better. Like I said before, all DAZN needs is Premier League rights, Champions League rights. The Premier League rights are up for renewal in the next year or so. If DAZN get those, they're in business. And it was showing their boxing. So am I saying DAZN UK's finished? No. Let me tell you something. I'm never on record as saying DAZN UK will fail. DAZN USA, completely different story. I never thought DAZN USA would work. And I always said from the get-go, that's going to end in tears. And I think for the most part, yeah, we're pretty close to saying that I was right about that. DAZN UK, different. I've always given them a chance of success, but they're going to need football rights, aren't they? And if they can get football rights, then like I said before, they're banging business. But right now, they don't have football rights. And right now, it appears that not a lot of people are watching. And you can tell that by some of the things that the fighters are saying. So, look, what do you guys think about what Joshua Buatsi said? Now, a few people are saying, well, the £1 billion deal. Have you heard about this? And we're going to look at Buatsi's response in a second. Do you remember this £1 billion? Well, sorry, the £1 million offer. Or Buatsi's ducking Bivol because he was offered £1 million to fight Dimitri Bivol. The very, very first thing I thought about that £1 million offer was, right? And it's the problem on the internet. On the internet, we sometimes act like we have all the facts when we don't have all the facts. Press 5 if you think that's a fair point. And we all do it. I do it as well. Sometimes we all behave like we have all the facts when we don't. Sometimes people, including me, yeah, we need to remember, and I include myself in this, we all need to remember that we're a bunch of insignificant losers making YouTube videos out of our mum's bungalow. We need to, do you not think though, at some point, we all need to have, yeah, that little bit of self-awareness. Sometimes it's important that we don't take ourselves too seriously, yeah? And we have a little bit of self-awareness of where we are in the food chain, yeah? Where we are in the food, where am I in the food chain? Lower than plankton, I would say right now. Lower than the plankton that's at the bottom of the fucking sea, right? Lower than the fucking amoebas, right? And whatnot, okay? We need to be a little bit like, you know, understand. But too many people think they know the full facts. And people saying, well, Buatsi turned down £1 million offer to fight Bivol. The first thing I thought was, well, what was attached to those terms? How many fights? Was that part of a one-fight deal? Was Buatsi able to fight Bivol for $1 million and then go to Boxer and fight somewhere else or go to Queensbury? Or was it a deal where, oh yeah, you can fight Bivol for $1 million, PS, you'll also be tied into X amount of fights contract? Simple questions that you just need to ask yourself. Again, we don't know the answer. So I think the right thing to do is wait for the information to come out. Rather than saying Buatsi's a coward, Buatsi's running, he's scared, he's scared of Bivol, he's a coward, he's just looking for easy fights. I'm just saying, maybe we should wait for the information to come out. And information has come out from Joshua Buatsi. Here's his response to Eddie Hearn. Joshua Buatsi on Eddie Hearn saying he rejected $1 million plus to fight Dimitri Bivol. This is Buatsi, I'm going to quote Buatsi. What were the caveats? You end up signing an extension of another 2-3 years at a channel you don't want to be on. This guy will say anything he wants to say. I couldn't care less. So, look, it looks like bridges have been burned, yeah, between Eddie Hearn and Joshua Buatsi. And do expect to see an IFL TV interview from Eddie Hearn in the very, very near future. I'd imagine Kugan Cassius, the shit stirrer extraordinaire. By the way, has he done anything to Ty and Booth yet? Can someone let me know in the comment section? Big tough guy Kugan. Big hard man Kugan. The one who was going to Prince Patel about, I'm going to cave your head in. Oh, yo, see, some of these guys who have these YouTube channels, man, they do think they're gangsters, don't they? No disrespect in it, but do you not think, innit? Do you not think, like, a few of these guys who run YouTube channels, do you not think a few of them think they're gangsters, innit? Because, like, this guy, innit, yeah, look, it's here, innit? I'm not going to play the video, but do you remember, innit, like, he telling Prince Patel you're going to cave Prince Patel's head in. I'm still waiting for him to cave Ty and Booth's head in. Somebody let me know, has he done that yet? There you go, look, you can see there, look. There's Kugan there, look. He's getting stuck into Prince Patel there, look. He's ready to go, innit? Shame, innit? But when he saw Ty and Booth, though, he weren't ready to go then, was he, when he saw Ty and Booth, innit? You weren't ready to start on Ty and Booth, innit? That was a completely different story, innit? It's funny how these internet man work, innit? It's funny how these internet man work, innit? Rotted. These internet man are a different story, man. They're well tough, innit? These internet man are well tough. That's why I don't want no beef with them. They'll bruck me up easy. I don't want no beef with them. I don't want to go on their channel for no debate, nothing. These guys are too dangerous. But anyway, I'd imagine Kugan will be on the M25, yeah, right now, heading down to do an exclusive for Eddie Hearn. And I think we're going to get an interview from Eddie Hearn. And I think the interview is going to go something like this. Joshua Buatsi's a ducker. What do you guys think? Press 1 if you're with me on that. Press 2 if you disagree. I do think we're going to see some kind of retaliation from Eddie Hearn along the lines of, we offered Joshua Buatsi everything. We offered him a fight by fight. All sorts will come out. We offered him a fight by fight. We did that, but at the end of the day, he just didn't want to fight anybody. That's what's going to be said for. Who knows? Maybe it's true. But I do believe, that will come out from the Hearn side. I do believe that Hearn will come up with something along the lines of Joshua Buatsi's a ducker and he didn't want to fight anybody. Bit like when Josh Warrington left Matchroom to join Frank Warren. Do you remember that? At the peak of Matchroom as well. At the peak of Matchroom, Josh Warrington left Sky to go and sign with Box Nation in a move which turned out to be the best move of his fucking career. What ended his career, arguably, was going back to Matchroom and getting ironed out. And then they let him vacate his title and then getting ironed out by Mauricio Lara during COVID. That was the end of his fucking career. Going to Box Nation was the beginning of his career. But anyway, I digress. What do you guys think about Buatsi? Listen, I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't want to call the fighter a duck, especially Buatsi. Buatsi's a very tough fighter, in my opinion. Now, Buatsi is a very, very tough fighter. He's a warrior. Like, I think people get confused with Buatsi. Like, I know he's past the Buatsi outside the ring, innit? I know he's past the Buatsi outside of the ring, innit? Outside the ring, he's past the Buatsi. If Joshua Buatsi ever runs out of money from boxing, he needs to start one of them evangelistic TV channels. Look. Evangelistic TV channels. Where them evangelistic TV channels? You know the ones where the pastors be on there making like millions and shit. Some of these pastors in America be flying on jets and shit. Am I lying or not lying? Some of these big pastors. Some of these pastors, I'm not joking, be flying from place to place, yeah, in like big time private jets. Do you know what I mean? They got more money than Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos put together, some of these pastors. So if Joshua Buatsi, if this boxer deal doesn't work out for Buatsi, yeah, then listen, a career in TV evangelism will certainly work out. But we'll see. What do you guys think? Do you think the boxer deal will work out? Shall I tell you something, right? Whenever a fighter signs for boxer, yeah, and I could be completely wrong on this, right? This Joshua Buatsi and Lawrence Okoli move is either one of two things, right? Either boxer are taking over the game, which could happen. But you know what? There's something about this Ben Shalom that makes me itch, innit? Something about this Ben Shalom that makes me itch. In fact, here's a good time to play this.
You're secure anyway.
No, Ben, it's gone past that, mate, because we've been here now since July talking, mate.
No. So I'm saying, if I can't get you that by the end of the week, then I just give you the 100 grand. But I don't want. I actually have looked up to you growing up. I don't want this situation with you. I think I can do what you want, but I've got to the point now where I feel like Sky have fucked me, and I know you don't care about that, but that I'm not going to fuck you. And I want, look, I know you say it's gone past the stage, but if I put in a contract where you've got, like, I've got to deliver.
So we all know how Ben Shalom does business, but what's this about the likes? 120 in here and only 37 likes. Fuck me, that's disgusting. Please hit the like button. I'm taking time out of... What time is it? I've got Liverpool versus Real Madrid in 7 minutes. And I'm taking the time to do this video for you guys, man. So hit the like button if you can. So anyway, look, we know, yeah, we know how Ben Shalom does business, yeah, as per that video above. We know how Ben Shalom does business. Now, whenever a fighter signs for Ben Shalom and boxer, yeah, part of me thinks they're one step away from ending up signing for Frank Warren and Queensberry. Because I do think, and I could be wrong, but I do get the impression that Ben Shalom is a guy who writes checks that his ass can't cash. I could be completely wrong on that, but there have been a few rumblings, and that's where the Billy Joe Saunders thing has come from. There have been a few rumblings about things going on at Boxer. Promises being made that haven't been kept, and like all kinds of shenanigans. You'd be surprised, innit? You'd be surprised some of the things that go on about Boxer. There are some shenanigans that go on there. That David Avanesian, remember when they signed David Avanesian to a long-term multi-contract deal? One fight later, he was signed with Frank Warren. Where's Ben Whittaker? Does anybody know where Ben Whittaker is, by the way? Maybe he's injured, but does anybody know where Ben Whittaker is? There's all kinds of things going on with fighters, and there are a couple of fighters actually. Florian Marku, although he might still be with Boxer. But Florian Marku, I believe, was another fighter who I think allegedly was signed to a long-term deal at Boxer. And then the next fight, or fight later, he was basically fighting on another promotion. So there are things that are going on at Boxer there. You know, sometimes you hear these fighters are signing up to multi-fight agreements, but you know, like I said before, I'm not sure. Boxers, how do I say this? Boxer are an interesting. Boxer are an interesting. Joseph Parker. signed a multi-fight long-term deal, didn't he, with Boxer? And then they couldn't. And then what happened to him? His first fight was on BT Sport. Can you see the pattern here? Avanesian signs for a long-term deal. Avanesian ends up with Frank Warren next fight. Florian Marku signed a long-term deal. Next minute, Florian Marku ain't with Boxer no more. Joseph Parker signs a long-term deal with Boxer. His first fight's on BT Sport against Joseph Parker. So there's definitely something going on with Boxer, man. There is definitely something. And you know what? There are people in the business who don't like them and don't like the way they operate. I know that because sometimes I do get people message me with some funny shit about these idiots. I do. They know who they are. I do get people message. In fact, one of them might be listening right now. But yeah, I do get people who do ping me every now and again, who do hit me up in the old private messages with some joke shit about Boxer. Yeah, Stephen Tockley said Ritson signed and then went to Probellum. Yeah, Crazy D3 fumbled the Taylor versus Catterall rematch as well. There you go. Yeah, he fumbled it, and Josh wasn't Josh Taylor saying some, I don't know, but wasn't Josh Taylor saying some like not very nice things about our box? There's definitely something going on with that Boxer outfit. It's definitely one to keep your eye on. Either they're going to take over or they're going to fall flat on their face. I'm not sure which one it is. But whenever fighters get some with Boxer, honestly, yeah, look, it is what it is. And like I said before, to be fair, Boxer have shown that they're willing to work with, and that's credit to Ben Shalom. He has shown that he is willing to work with other promotions. So just because Buatsi's gone and signed with Boxer doesn't mean that we're not going to see Yard versus Buatsi. Maybe Anthony Yard leaves Frank Warren and goes to. Listen, Sky Sports box office is a powerful thing, man. Sky Sports box office is still the creme de la creme. Although I do think BT is what it is. But Sky Sports box office is the creme de la creme. Maybe Anthony Yard leaves Frank Warren. Maybe Boxer and Frank Warren do a deal. I think anything could happen. Ben Shalom should be credited. He's shown that he's willing to work with promoters. Anyway, give me your final thoughts on Buatsi. My thoughts are this. I don't think Buatsi is scared of Dimitri Bivol, right? I think it's very, very simple. Very, very simple thing. Joshua Buatsi is inactive. He probably feels that he needs a few more fights. He's probably got Virgil Hunter in his ear, probably telling him he's probably not ready yet. Because don't forget, it's not just Buatsi. He'll have his training, he'll have his people around him. I suspect Virgil Hunter's probably telling him, look, you're not ready for Bivol yet, you need a few more fights. So I wouldn't say he's scared of Bivol, but he probably feels, look, I might not be ready yet. My team around me might not be ready yet. I'll probably like a couple more fights. I'll probably like to start getting more active and build myself into a fight like that. Boxer come along and they probably say, look, Joshua, we're going to make you front and center of our promotion. We're really going to make a fuss over you. We're Sky. You're going to have the backing of Sky. You're going to have the backing of Sky Sports News. You're going to, and you come with us and, we'll give you a couple of easy fights to begin with and we'll bed you in and we'll really rebuild you and we'll really promote you. And then when you go for your big world title shot against whoever it is, you can have that on Sky Sports box office, which is still, the sort of the holy grail, isn't it, of all boxers. I think that's fair to say that Sky Sports box office is still probably pretty much the pay-per-view holy grail for all boxers in the UK. And I suspect that's how Boxer went about it with him. They just said, look, you're not active enough. Come with us. You get to fight on a proper platform where we'll show the Premier League. It's a platform that's got much better viewership than DAZN. We'll give you a couple of easy fights. We'll help you get back into it. And then, when you're ready, come and have a world title fight with us and we'll do it on Sky Sports box office and blah, blah, blah. And you can be and they would have done the same thing to Akole. They would have done the same thing to Akole. So that's my opinion. I don't think a few people are trying to frame it like Buatsi's a coward or he's scared. I always try to give the fighter the benefit of the doubt. All right. And the reason why is because I'm not man enough to get in the ring and put a fucking pair of gloves on in front of a few thousand people and get sparked out. So I have to give the fighters the benefit of the doubt. Right. 116 still here. Do you want to continue for 5 more minutes or shall we stop it right now and go and watch Liverpool versus Real Madrid? What do you want? 5 more minutes or should we stop it now, call it a day and go and watch Real Madrid versus Liverpool? Actually, no, it's at 8 o'clock, innit? Am I right about that? It's 8 o'clock, innit? Liverpool is at 8 o'clock with Real Madrid. I'm living in the 1990s of Champions League football. Let me just double check that. So we still got time. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. There we go. It's at 8 o'clock. There we go. My bad. All right, we're at 8 o'clock. There we go. All right, 8 o'clock. All right. So any more comments on Buatsi? Colin Anthony says, I just recently watched Barry Hearn's High Performance podcast. I thought, what a guy. And I know just being in the book doesn't mean he was complicit in anything Epstein done, but no, like I said before, the Epstein thing is the biggest waste of time of all time. If you look at who was in Jeffrey Epstein's book, there were hundreds and probably thousands of business names across the country. Some are men, some are women. I mean, just because you're in the book does not mean that you are a you-know-what. It's just stupid. The whole thing's stupid. To me, even if he went and flown to his island, it doesn't mean that you're a you-know-what. Do you know what I mean? To me, and we can have the discussion about that another time. But like I said before, just going to the island, right? So if Jeffrey Epstein says, come to my island, you can use my private villa or you can use my facilities there. Do you know what I mean? And you go there and you visit or do whatever. Does that mean that you should be implicated as you-know-what? No. It's just the whole thing's nuts, in my opinion. I would never say those things about Barry Hearn because it's horrendous. And like I said before, you don't know the kind of guy Barry Hearn is. We're lucky Barry Hearn hasn't taken that stuff to heart. Imagine if Barry Hearn was a fragile guy going through mental health problems and then people started putting up unfounded rumours about Bazza and giving him all kinds of abuse on social media. And then he tops himself or hangs himself or Listen, these things happen. Stuff like that happened to Caroline Flack. These things happen, So me personally, everybody can have their own opinion. I would never ever say those things about Barry Hearn. Barry Hearn is a nutcase, but he's not one of those, in my opinion. Let's carry on. Crazy D3 says Ben Shalom is a cuckold. The less said about that, the better. Let's see. Right, let's keep going through some comments. Sorry, the comments will be slow to come through because of the way I set up the stream. So, the way I set up the stream, I put a little delay on the comments by mistake. So, if you're going to comment, please. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. We've done Buatsi. Oh, that's it, quickly. Do we have to do the latest blow by blow on this Muppet Fury? Yeah, quickly. The daily blow by blow starring Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. This fucking clown show just gets worse and worse by the fucking day. Let's have a look. What's the latest bullshit, from Monsieur Tyson Fury? Some bullshit about a fucking rematch clause or some shit. Here we go. What's this Muppet on about now? Listen, I think April 29th is too soon. I know he normally does 6-week caps, but if that fight happens April 29th, I'll go with Usyk to win that fight on points. I'm serious. Then again, I did pick Zora to beat Fury as well. So, can you trust what Ultra says? Who knows? One sec. Can you trust the word Ultra says when it comes to Tyson Fury? I don't know. I picked Zora to beat him. But I might go with Usyk, 29th of April, a little bit too soon. And I tell you one thing. Usyk's a machine, man. That guy is on it. 24/7, 365. That guy eats, sleeps, and drinks the sport of boxing, man. He don't go yo-yo and go up and down. So I'm kind of hoping, like I said before, for all the Tyson Fury fans out there, yeah, you might want this fight to take place in April. And with the amount of delays that are taking place with this signing of the contract, I'm genuinely hoping in it. So it will happen. I think June time is probably best for both parties, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Fury's out here. He's saying it's going to take. He's saying, look, the April 29th date is definitely a worker. See you all April 29th. I remember when Fury was making posts on social media saying Anthony Joshua fight is done, 2-fight deal. See you all for the Anthony Joshua fight. Who remembers that one? I remember Fury on social media saying, guys, big news, 2-fight deal done with Anthony Joshua. See you all there. I'm hoping somebody in it, yeah, with a bit of common sense talks Fury out of fight on April the 29th. Genuinely. Because that ain't going to be good news for him, in my opinion. Usyk's like... Anybody else, I would say this is a straightforward Tyson Fury win, but Usyk is one of the greatest fighters of all time. And so, like I said before, you can't play around with a guy like that, man. And Usyk as well, and I'll quickly say this before we move on, I just think he studies his opponents for a very... Usyk's the kind of guy who knows who's going to be fighting years in advance. You know when he fought Anthony Joshua or Alexander Usyk, yeah? He'd have studied Anthony Joshua for years. I'm pretty sure he studied Anthony Joshua for years before he moved up and picked... Because you remember when Usyk moved up, basically, I think, to become champion, obviously. But Usyk was always Usyk's plan to move up and get Anthony Joshua. That was always part of the plan. It wasn't like Usyk moved up to heavyweight, yeah, and it was like, right, I'm going to have a few fights, see how I get on. Oh, I'm pretty good at this. Oh, I'll fancy an Anthony Joshua fight. He moved up, in my opinion, to take out Anthony Joshua. he'd been watching him for fucking years. That fight was talked about for donkeys, and he'd be talking about it. I think he'd been watching Anthony Joshua, studying Anthony Joshua for years and years and years. That's why he moved up. He had a fight against a used car salesman. He had one fight against Chisora in Britain, probably to get used to fighting in Britain, you know, fighting in front of the British public, get his name known, and then bang, straight in there with Anthony Joshua. He knew. Studied him for years. Usyk's not, he's not one of them guys to just rock up and fight. I think he's been studying him, and his team have been studying Anthony Joshua for years, and they knew going into that fight. I didn't know, but they knew going into this fight. Oh, we've got this guy. Makes sense. So all the when he moved up to heavyweight, the move, all that, there was always one goal, one target. Anthony Joshua was the target, and he beat him. And same with Tyson Fury. They just studied him. And then they studied him thoroughly, man. So Tyson ain't getting in the ring with some random dude here, man. And he needs to take that fight appropriately. And I'm not sure if it's enough time. 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks. I'm not sure if that's enough time. I'm hoping that somebody at Queensbury or Top Rank here sees sense and delays it for Fury's sake. But if that fight happens April 29th, I might have to go with Usyk on points in a very, very scrappy fight. And Fury needs that rematch clause, by the way, as well. Or no rematch clause. He needs that rematch clause, in my opinion, because, like I said before, Usyk's a very, very tricky customer. I can definitely see Usyk taking that fight in a stinker on points, in my opinion. That's how I see it. Usyk on points in an absolute stinker because Fury gets it wrong. Gets the tactics wrong. And I think, and you know what's funny? Who did I speak to about this? I spoke to a boxer about this. Was it a boxer I spoke to? It was Tony. In the last episode, Tony, I don't know if you guys, Tony from Tony's Reviews came on. Tony's a boxer. And me and Tony, and we said, if you were Tyson Fury, what would you tell him not to do if you got in the ring with Alexander Usyk? And the first thing Tony said was, don't overcommit. Exactly what I've been saying, isn't it? What I've been saying all along about Fury is the first thing that Tony said. Tony said, don't overcommit. Don't overcommit, because if you overcommit, you'll fall in. Usyk will love that, and he'll pick you off. And I've got a funny feeling that's what Fury will do if he steps in the ring on April 29th. I think he'll probably overdo it a bit. That's my opinion. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Somebody somewhere in the beginning of the episode, I think it was Iron's Analysis, asked me a very, very interesting question about boxing, which I completely forgot to go around. But before I get back to that, I want to get through to the whole thing about the split. Because I do think one thing people have got wrong, on social media is about this Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk split, and that's the following, right? In fact, here we go. You can see it on the screen, right? I've likened it to this. There you go, basically, right in front of me. I've likened it to this, right? Fury versus Usyk in a nutshell. These how stupid the conversations are about the split, right? Imagine if you got a job, right? And the job was advertised at 60k. And you go into the interview and you negotiate them up to 100k a year from the job, right? And you make 100k a year. You go in and negotiate what you think is your worth, and you end up getting a 60k a year job for 65k a year, or 70k a year, or 75k a year, or 100k a year. You go in and you know what you're worth, and you negotiate an increase. Well, to me, that's just common business sense. Press 1 if you agree with me, press 2 if you disagree. So I will say one thing. Though I do think Tyson Fury is making a bit of a muppet of himself, which he does do. They all do. It's a Fury trait. John Fury's a muppet. Tyson Fury's a bit of a muppet. They all make muppets out of themselves, right? But one place Tyson Fury didn't make a muppet of himself, is at the negotiating table. And I'm sorry, I have to agree with Fury on that. The one place Tyson Fury didn't make a muppet of himself was at that negotiating table. Because I can't see how anybody can counter what he's saying about Alex Krasuk. Alex Krasuk, who's Usyk's manager, is running his mouth, and going on social media and making all these videos about Fury's a ducker, Fury's a coward. But guess what? You accepted 30%, you absolute idiot. You accepted 30%. You got knocked down from 50% to 30% in a fucking day. So what does that make you as a fucking manager? Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. I have to be honest, I think Fury's right about that. I'm sorry, like I said, is Fury making a muppet of himself? Absolutely. Is he turning off some of the casual fans? Absolutely. But look, at the end of the day, right, Usyk got knocked down from 50% to 30% in the fucking space of a couple of hours. I mean, look, you had your pants pulled down at the negotiating table by the sounds of it. Unless there's some facts and stories that I don't know about, right? But unless there's some facts and stories that I don't know about, if that fight goes ahead at 70-30, you had your trousers pulled down. So look, don't come on social media and give it the big one about, you know, this person's a coward and Alex Krasik saying this and that. You need to worry about your own business. You need to worry about your own business. Because right now, it looks like there's a fire set. There's a fire sale going on, isn't it? Fucking hell, like Alex Krasik negotiating like he's in the middle of TK Maxx, isn't it? Alex Krasik, man. What does he think this is? Alex Krasik, yeah, negotiating like he's in the middle of TK Maxx Croydon. Prices are going down, innit? All of a sudden, innit? Beginning of the day, 50%. Was it? The beginning of the day, 50-50. End of the day, we'll take 30%. Can you imagine that, yeah? You walk into TK Maxx, yeah? At the start of the day, innit, close at 50% off. And by the end of the day, it closes 70% off. You would say, hold on a minute, what the fuck's going on here? no disrespect, innit? But wouldn't you think that, innit? Innit? You walk into TK Maxx, yeah, and they go, can I have this Ralph Lauren jumper? Yeah, Ultra, you can have it. But you're not getting any more than 50% off. And then I come back, I'll go, okay, I'll think about it, I'll come back. You come back just for closing time, and they're like, Ultra, look, 70% off. And people are saying, oh my God, Fury's exposed himself. They called his bluff. Well, fuck me. From where I'm standing right now, listen, the date, April 29th, I think it's too soon for Fury. But in terms of financially, yeah, if you ask me whose position would I be in financially, Usyk or Fury's? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. As Nas said, it ain't hard to tell, mate. To crack out the Nas for that, bro. It ain't hard to tell. I excel. Clientele. Da 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 da. Crack out the Nas, mate. It ain't hard to tell, mate. Listen, it is what it is, isn't it? Alex Krasik, innit? I hope he's got that right, you know, Krasik, innit? I hope he's got that right, you know, Krasik. I hope he's got that right. Listen, him and Igis Kilmas are basically like, you know, him and Igis Kilmas are like glorified mafia bosses. So I'm sure they've got some kind of trick up their sleeve. But I'm just saying, to a layman like me, innit, yeah, people are saying, wow, Fury's really exposed himself in these negotiations. I'm thinking, well, from where I'm standing, it went from 50% to 70% in a day. So it is what it is. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. John Trowson said something very, very interesting. Apparently, there's a clause stating that the 70-30 split only applies to the 29th date. If it gets pushed back, there's a 50-50. I don't think there's a clause in any contract that says that. I know that Alex Krasik has come out and said that. Or Igis Kilmas says, if it ain't the 29th, then we want 50-50. I mean, look, the whole thing's a fucking mess. Why can't these guys just do it all in public? Why do the public need to know this? Can you see what I'm saying? And that Frank Warren as well, running his mouth, telling everybody it's on. We're going back to the glory days of Frank. That, like I said, I'll leave it at this before you go and watch Liverpool. That's how you know Frank Warren's back, right? If you want to know, right, what is the sign that Frank Warren's back? When Frank Warren starts announcing fights that haven't been signed yet, that's when you know that Frank Warren truly is back at the top of British boxing. Frank Warren telling you it's on, it's done, and nobody's signed. That in itself tells you he truly, well and truly is back at, yeah, the top table of British boxing. Right, I'm gonna go and watch Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Vinicius Junior for me is one of the best left-sided wingers in the world. I think Vinicius Junior is an absolute monster. I think Real Madrid are one of the best football teams in the world. They'll be playing Barcelona in the new camp this Sunday in La Liga. Definitely watch that. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. But if you're a Liverpool fan, we'll have to wait and see. I haven't been playing too well other than that 7-0 at United. We'll have to wait and see. But like I said before, Liverpool are fucking dodgy. If anybody can come back here and grease their way out of a 3-1 down away from home, was it 5-2 down away from home? It's Liverpool. If anybody can grease themselves out of 3 goals down, now there's no away goals rule now. It's Liverpool, one of the jammiest teams of all time. And if you watch the Champions League final against AC Milan back in 2005, I think in Istanbul, like I did live, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They are the worst when it comes down to comebacks. They're the worst. They are the fucking worst. So can never write those guys off. All right. Take care of yourselves and each other.